Inirekomenda ng Office of the Solicitor General na mapawalang sala sa kasong serious illegal detention si Janet Lim Napoles na sinasabing utak ng pork barrel scam. Wala raw sapat na ebidensya laban sa kanya. Hiwalay po ito sa kaso ng pork barrel scam na kinakaharap pa rin ni Napoles. Live mula sa Quezon City, may report si Sandra Aguinaldo. Sandra?
Jessica, nababahala nga itong kampo ni Benhur Luy na baka maapektuhan ng mga kaso na nakabinbin ngayon sa Sandigan Bayan. Itong pinakahuling hakbang na ginawa ng Office of the Solicitor General. Kaugnay naman doon sa hiwalay na kaso nga ng serious illegal detention laban dito kay Janet Lim Napoles. Ganun pa man, umaasa raw sila na pag-aaralan ng husto ng korte ang naturang mga kaso. Ang tinaguriang pork barrel queen na si Janet Lim Napoles ngayon pinapanigan ng abogado ng gobyerno, ang Office of the Solicitor General o OSG. Ito ay sa kasong serious illegal detention na isinampa ng kanyang pinsang si Benhur Luy, ang whistleblower sa pork barrel scam. Noong 2015, nahatulan si Napoles ng Makati Regional Trial Court ng parusang reklusyon perpetua o 40 taong pagkakakulong, na ngayon ay inaapila niya sa Court of Appeals. Noong Enero, isinumite ng OSG ang isang manifestation in lieu of rejoinder na nirerekomenda ang pagpapawalang sala kay Napoles. Paliwanag ni Solicitor General Jose Calida, hiwalay na kaso naman ang usapin ng pork barrel at ang serious illegal detention laban kay Napoles.
There are many glaring instances which will support the acquittal of the accused.
Si Luy ang pangunahing testigo sa plunder case na isinampa laban kay Napoles at 3 dating senador noong Administrasyong Aquino. Matatanda ang sinabi ni Luy na ikinulong siya ni Napoles sa bahay nito at sa isang retreat house dahil sa kanyang nalalaman sa pork barrel scam. Pero sabi ni Calida, base sa testimonya ng ilang testigo, hindi umano nakakulong si Luy. Agosto noong isang taon, sinabi ni Pangulong Duterte na pag-aaralan muli ng gobyerno ang mga kaso kaugnay sa umano'y maanomalyang paggamit ng pork barrel ng mga mambabatas na dumaan sa mga non-government organization ni Napoles. Tinanong ng media si Calida kung meron bang kasunduan ng administrasyon kay Napoles. Git niya, wala. Pero sinabi niyang posibleng na manipula ang kaso ni Napoles noong nakaraang administrasyon.
Who had the motive at that time? Para hindi kumanta si Napoles.
Sinabi rin ni Calida na walang kinalaman sa pahayag ng Pangulo ang posisyon ng OSG sa kaso ni Napoles. Hiningan daw sila ng komento ng Court of Appeals na madalas daw naman nangyayari sa kasong nasa Supreme Court o kaya Court of Appeals. Pwede rin naman daw silang hindi umayon sa posisyon ng gobyerno. Dagdag ni Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo, tungkulin ng OSG na mabigyan ng hustisya ang lahat. Ikinatuwa naman ng abogado ni Napoles si Attorney Stephen David ang ginawa ng OSG sa giit na hindi talaga sangkot sa illegal detention ng kanyang kliyente. Ikinagulat naman ng kampo ni Luy ang hakbang ng OSG.
This can adversely affect the position of the case on appeal and all other cases related to it, not just the serious illegal detention. We are confident that the High Court will extensively take all arguments seriously, considering the regional trial court held a full-blown trial, and it was the lower court that was able to see the deportment of the witnesses and the evidence.
Hiningan din namin ng komento ang kampo ni Pangulong Aquino pero wala pa raw itong pahayag sa ngayon. Jessica, ayon sa OSG, dadaan pa rin naman ito sa proseso ng korte at after ng Court of Appeals, meron pa rin na mga pwedeng idulog sa Korte Suprema. At yun nga, sinasabi nila na hiwalay na kaso naman ito doon sa mga pork barrel related cases na nasa Sandigan Bayan. Jessica?
Tama yun, Sandra. Kailangan talagang liwanagin lest it create the perception na mukhang makalulusot itong si Napoles despite sa bigat ng mga kasong kinakaharap niya. Itong illegal detention, walang kinalaman ito doon sa pork barrel scam na kinakaharap pa rin niya, di ba?
Yes, Jessica, ang sinasabi nga lang no ng pero tayo nakausap kanina no na isang abogado na hindi siya ayaw niyang masabi ang kanyang pangalan. Ang isa sa pwedeng epekto ay doon sa credibility nitong si Benhur Luy. Pero ganun pa man, ang sinasabi nga niya dapat yung korte tutok lamang doon sa mga ebidensya no, na nakapresenta doon sa kanilang sa Sandigan Bayan halimbawa, kaugnay nga dito sa pork barrel cases. Dahil kung tutuusin, kung mako-question man itong kredibilidad ni Benhur Luy, ay ito ay patungkol naman doon sa mga kaso, sa kaso na kaugnay nga sa serious illegal detention na kung saan nahatulan itong si Napoles, Jessica.
Pero other than that, Sandra, no, yung credibility that may be put in question itong whistleblower, wala naman nakikitang implications yung ibang abogado dito sa kung kunwari makalusot nga itong si Napoles sa serious illegal detention, wala itong implication dun sa other cases na mas may merit, di ba? Kasi ito, it's all about the pork barrel walang posibleng implications ito doon.
Yun ang sinasabi nila, Jessica, no, maging na OSG, hiwalay na kaso naman ito. Pero ang katotohanan din, Jessica, ay dito sa serious illegal detention, nahatulan na si Napoles. Kaya kumbaga kung ikaw yung nandoon sa kabilang panig, nakatitiyak ka na si Napoles ay nakakulong for 40 years dahil yun ang hatol sa kanya. Kung ano man ang mangyari doon sa plunder cases sa Sandigan Bayan, siya ay nakakulong na para sa hiwalay na kaso. Yun na nga lang, kung kalaunan ay siya ay makakalaya dito sa serious illegal detention na case, ay ang matitira yung nasa Sandigan Bayan ngayon na bagamat ito ay hindi siya nakapag-bail dito, no, Jessica, pero naulinigan natin na maaaring mag-file uli. Halimbawa, at hingin uli niya yung siya ay makapag-bail dito sa kasong narito sa Sandigan Bayan. Jessica?
Maraming salamat sa iyo, Sandra Aguinaldo.
With text messages. Since I could not respond to all of them, I asked my staff, who's in charge of our media, Attorney Eric D., to invite you here so we can have a chat and you can ask me questions which I will attempt to answer to the best of my ability. I understand you want to ask about the manifestation of the Office of the Solicitor General concerning the serious illegal detention case of Janet Napoles. I think that is the flavor of the day. It's going viral, I think, so shoot. Not me, shoot your questions.
Sir, the basis to your manifest.
Please introduce yourself and the media outfit that you belong to.
Sir Javier, Senate TV. Sir, ano yung basis ng pagpapile niyo ng manifestation na parang contradicting or disfavoring Benhur Luy's statement or testimony before?
Okay. The Office of the Solicitor General is the defender of the Republic and at the same time the tribune of the people. I am a servant of the law and I took an oath to uphold the rule of law. Our office was asked to comment, to file our pleading. And so we, as we do in all cases that are assigned to us, to me especially, as the last reviewer of the pleadings, we are very careful in assessing the evidence, especially in criminal cases. I've been practicing as a lawyer for the last 43 years, and criminal law is my forte. As you will know, we had a spat with Senator Lima, and so I challenged her. If her grade is higher than me in the criminal law in the bar exams, I will resign, but he did not take up this challenge. So I know if a decision has the quantum of evidence that is sufficient to convict an accused for a crime, and that should be proof beyond reasonable doubt. In the case of Napoles, it is my well-considered opinion, as well as the opinion of my Assistant Solicitor Generals and other solicitors down the chain, that the court, the regional trial court, erred in convicting the accused, Janet Napoles, for the crime of serious illegal detention under Article 267 of the Revised Penal Code. You know, when we look at the evidence, the transcript of records, there are many glaring instances which will support the acquittal of the accused. The crime is serious illegal detention, allegedly for 3 months. Now, here are the facts as we which we considered why the court was wrong. And before I go into that, let me just preface my statement that we did not file our manifestation for the purpose of acquitting a person. No. We filed our manifestation to let the Court of Appeals know what is our opinion on the matter. It is up to the justices of the Court of Appeals to assess the weight of our pleading. And modesty aside, the Solicitor General is considered as the 16th Justice of the Supreme Court, because we are partners with the judiciary, especially the appellate courts, like the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court, to see to it that justice is served, and justice will not send an innocent person to the gallows, neither should a guilty person go away with murder, as they say. So it is my bounden duty to state the facts as our best lights, our God-given best lights will appreciate the facts. The persons involved here are immaterial to us. It could be Sandra, if she's the accused. We will do the same for anybody else. The important for me is justice should be done without fear or favor. So I'm quite surprised why there's such a reaction. Now, going back to the facts. You know, if a person is illegally detained, the first thing that he will do is to escape. Do you agree with that? Nobody wants to be illegally detained against his will without trying to escape. Benhur Luy was in the retreat house for about 3 months. He had access to a cell phone. In fact, he was using his cell phone according to the priests who were there. He could have communicated to anybody out there that he was illegally detained. But did the prosecution come up with any witness showing that Benhur Luy cried out to somebody out there, outside of the retreat house, that he was being illegally detained? None. Number two, Benhur was not actually restrained inside the retreat house. According to witnesses, he acted like any other normal persons who would undergo a retreat. He would read the Bible, he would jot notes, he participated in the mass and other things that somebody who undergoes retreat should do. So it was a normal situation insofar as Benhur Luy is concerned. There was no witness presented that would show that there was restraint of movement by Benhur when he was in the retreat house. Now, during the period of his alleged detention, Benhur Luy was able to see his family 3 times. One in December 24, 2012 at the Heritage Memorial Park, January 9, 2013 and February 23, 2013 at the Pacific Plaza Towers in Taguig City. And in none of these instances did he intimate to anyone of them that he was being detained or kidnapped by the appellant. That is not the reaction, the normal reaction of a person who is being illegally detained. Further, on several occasions, Benhur Luy went out of the retreat house without any incident. In fact, he had a dinner with Reynaldo Lim and several priests at Rai Rai Ken in Magallanes before walking to the Rustan supermarket to buy some foodstuff. If it is true that he was illegally detained, he could have escaped right there and then. So he never, in any instance, tried to leave the retreat house on his own. He could have done it, but he did not. And there's another significant evidence. Benhur Luy slipped a letter to his cousin, I think, or sister. It's a letter dated February 21, 2013, and he said he was not being detained against his will. And most telling is the rescue conducted on March 22, the alleged rescue in quotations conducted at the South Garden Unit, Pacific Plaza, Taguig. Benhur Luy refused to go with the agents of the National Bureau of Investigation. And he shouted and insisted that he had not been kidnapped by the accused Reynaldo Lim. It must be noted that the NBI agents came together with the members of Benhur's family. And this incident was witnessed by Pacific Plaza security officers, Fernando Masayon and Fernando Alcantara. They both testified that Benhur Luy resisted the alleged, quote, rescuers, unquote. And he even shouted to his brother that he had not been kidnapped. And we have the transcript of stenographic notes to that effect. Even NBI agent Rodante Beru, who allegedly, quote, rescued, unquote, Benhur Luy, confirmed Luy's reaction and added at the time of the rescue that he did not see Benhur Luy being physically restrained. Again, we have the transcript of the stenographic notes to support that finding. The CCTV footages taken during the time of the alleged rescue lend incontrovertible support to the testimonies of these witnesses and would show that Benhur Luy did not thereafter voluntarily go with the NBI agents. We have also the footages to that as part of the evidence. So, you can see the conduct and behavior of Benhur Luy during the period of his alleged detention belie the fact that he was actually detained or deprived of his liberty. Now, with facts like this, can you in conscience say that he should be convicted for the crime of serious illegal detention? Justice is blind, and we should do justice, even if he is Benhur Luy. Okay, so I'm open for further questions.
Sandra Ginaldo, GMA 7. What do you think is the impact on the pork barrel cases? Because there's a concern that this might affect the credibility of Benhur Luy.
Well, this serious illegal detention has nothing to do with the alleged the cases of Janet Napoles in the DAP and the DAP. These are two separate matters. As far as we are concerned, Benhur Luy was not detained, and therefore the case should be dismissed against him. But of course, it's up to the Court of Appeals to assess our pleading and manifestation.
Sandra Bule.
Yes, Sandra.
Is there a deal with Janet Napoles?
What deal are you talking about? We are talking about the rule of law here. There's no deal as far as I'm concerned, because my interest is to see to it that justice is done.
Sir, Caroline Boggi from ABS-CBN.
Yes, Caroline.
Sir, timeline lang po. Kailan niyo po nakuha yung letter po from CA, sir?
There was a reply brief dated September 20, 2016, where the appellant Janet Lim Napoles reiterated her argument. And after that, we reviewed, my solicitors reviewed the evidence again. And I also reviewed it personally myself. And I was convinced that the decision is wrong. And therefore, we had to comment on the reply brief, because that is what the Court of Appeals told us to do.
Sir, your manifestation filed for TCA actually came like a few months after President Duterte said that his administration will actually revisit Mrs. Napoles' case. So, sir, actually your manifestation has raised some questions, like if the Duterte administration actually had forged a modus vivendi with Mrs. Napoles'.
I think you're quoting PCIJ.
Yes, sir.
I don't know why they got that idea. The President has nothing to do with this. I'm just doing my job here. President Duterte does not, I repeat, President Duterte does not instruct his cabinet members and officers what to do. So, in short, there is no connection or link. Perhaps it is the fertile imagination of the writers of that article.
Sir, Ian Juan of Rappler. Clarify ko lang, sir, when did you start looking into the case? Nung po may reply brief na si Mrs. Napoles or before?
You know, whenever there is a pleading to be filed in the Court of Appeals or Supreme Court, it has to pass through me. So during that time when it was about to be filed, I made the necessary research and assess it. I'm an experienced lawyer, especially in this matter, so I can sense immediately if the judgment is wrong. And it is very unfair if Janet Napoles will suffer incarceration for life for a crime she did not commit. That is a travesty of justice which my office cannot countenance. Okay, anybody else?
Hi, sir. I'm Johnny Marco from CNN Philippines. Sir, going back to the argument of Benhur Luy, he's saying that he's being illegally detained, allegedly illegally detained, because he's being stopped from spilling the beans, pork barrel scam. So how will you reconcile that argument of Benhur Luy?
The argument of Benhur Luy is that what?
He's being illegally detained because he's being prevented to spill the beans about his knowledge of the pork scam.
They say, the facts, like cream, rises to the top. He may have said that, but the evidence, his conduct, shows that he was not illegally detained, and he could have left or escaped if he wanted to.
Sir, the PCIJ article also posed that question that are you interested in the Ombudsman post?
That has nothing to do with the case of Janet Napoles, isn't it? I will not comment on that because as of now, I'm still the Solicitor General, so I'm not ready for any other position. Oh, would you want me to be the Ombudsman? Seriously, you asked the question. You voted, okay.
Sir, any other topic? Sir, wala po bang influence ng mga lawyers ni Mrs. Napoles kung manifestation ng OSG, considering that two of former and present lawyers of Mrs. Napoles, yung wife yata naging commissioner ng PIR, and the other one is an online defender of President Duterte.
I don't even know them. Yes. Well, I know how the investigative journalists think. They want to connect things with according to what they see as connections. They have very fertile minds. So I think that's a fiction. You're inventing something which is not there. Okay? How about another topic?
Sir, NDF.
Okay, tapos na tayo dito sa Janet Napoles.
Sir.
Okay.
Sir, Hill Kabakungan Inquirer.
Oh, Hill.
Yeah,
Famous Hill, Kabakungan.
Sir, you said earlier that you base your judgment not basing on hateful personalities. It's as if you're making this assessment in a vacuum. Aren't you considering even the impact or the what role Janet Napoles played in our history the last 6 years?
Every case has its own peculiarities, facts. So this is a case of serious illegal detention. My role as a lawyer and as the Solicitor General of the Philippines, as I said, is to see to it that every person, that justice must be done to serve. Even yung sinabi mo in a vacuum, okay? In a vacuum in the sense that we will not be swayed by extraneous facts, extraneous circumstances. We will just focus on the case. Is the judgment correct or not? if we believe that the judgment is not correct and it will put an innocent person behind bars for the rest of her life, then we will not do justice if we will not right what is to make right what is wrong. In other words, we cannot be blind to injustice. And in this case, injustice was done to Janet Napoles.
Sir, based on your reply, will that be the blueprint in revisiting the other cases involving the senators, the pork barrel cases, like assessing them in a vacuum also?
That is not my concern, actually. It might be the concern of the legislators or what, but so far as my office is concerned, what is important to us is that we render justice fairly, and not because of possible,
But the president has already made it public that he wants to revisit the Napoles cases. Have you made any actions toward that?
Well, I don't know the context in which he said that. It could be with respect to the DAP and FIDAP, probably. But definitely not in the context of this case. The serious illegal detention.
No, so, but are you revisiting the other cases? Yes, sir.
Well, it would depend on the evidence when those cases are decided. They are not yet decided.
Because you said you want to ensure that justice is done, are there any other cases in which you are reviewing to ensure that an innocent person is safe? Is Napoles your priority in the reviewing of other judgments?
Well, in the history of the Office of the Solicitor General, we have exercised the power of tribune, the tribune of the people. In fact, during my stay here, I have been here for how many months? About 7 months. I have also exercised the power of the People's Tribune. Well, one example would be, I think, the case of Ecobolec extending the deadline to file the contributions and expenses. I did not side with Ecobolec in that case. I sided with the petitioners. Then again, there was this this anomaly in the license plates, I think. I did not side with the Department of Transportation, but I sided with the petitioners. And there is this Pantraco case that has been in litigation for around 30 years. I sided with the complainants, the drivers who were deprived of their wages, which were not paid because the only payment that was feasible was the franchise for the buses. So I could go on and on, and I forgot the other cases, but if we see that there is injustice, we will not close our eyes to it. At least I can speak for myself.
Other matters, NDF.
The NDF, okay. What is your question again in the NDF?
Sir, yung po kasi ibang mga NDF, lawyers po ng NDF consultants, nag-file po sila ng motion para po ma-defer yung judgment dahil po may prospect na matuloy pa yung stocks. Sir, ano po yung reaction nyo na ma-defer muna po yung pagpapa-aresto dun sa mga NDF consultants na panaya?
Is there a legal meaning to that effect?
Yes, sir, based po dun sa info na meron kami, may mga NDF consultants po na nag-file po ng mga motions.
Well, as far as I know, we have not received any motions yet. But we made our own manifestation manifestation with respect to that. Manifestation and motion. Actually, the basis why the bail for provisional liberty was cancelled is the order of the Supreme Court itself. Okay. We filed this manifestation and motion for the issuance of recommitment order for the NDF consultants because the Supreme Court, in its ruling in the case of there are four GR numbers. GR number 176830, 185587, 185636, and 19005. The government of the Philippines, through the Office of the Solicitor General, intervened at the start of these peace negotiations to allow certain accused to be given provisional liberty so that they could join the peace panel for the NDF. The Supreme Court granted our request, but imposed certain conditions, and there are 4 conditions. I'll read to you. The first condition is like this: the provisional liberty shall only be for the purpose of their attendance and participation in the formal peace negotiations in Oslo, Norway, commencing in August 2016 up to 6 months thereafter, or as soon as the peace negotiations are concluded or terminated, whichever is earlier. Once their participation ceases or the peace negotiations are terminated, their respective bonds shall be deemed automatically cancelled. I repeat that. Once their participation ceases or the peace negotiations are terminated, their respective bonds shall be deemed automatically cancelled. Now, when President Duterte said that the peace negotiations are terminated, then the provisional liberty through their respective bonds were deemed automatically cancelled. And what is the effect of that? There is no more provisional liberty, and therefore they should be recommitted to the detention facilities. Because if they do not, if they are not placed in their detention cells, they are considered fugitives from justice. There's no more bail, diba? So even if citizens arrest, pwede. If you're a fugitive of justice. So that is the basis. It's not the JASIG. JASIG is a defunct 1995 agreement. It has served its purpose already. So that is the legal basis why these NDF consultants who were serving sentences, or they were detained while the cases were going on, should be arrested. The cancellation of their bail was automatic, conditioned when the peace negotiations were terminated. And you know why this should be obeyed? Because Supreme Court decisions are judicial decisions. they form part of the law of the land that is in our jurisprudence. So the argument of those involved here, the NDF consultants, that the justice provision should be complied with, is not applicable because the law of the land says, so far as the Supreme Court decision is concerned or resolution, once the peace negotiations are terminated, the provisional liberties, the bonds are automatically cancelled. Period. Yeah, I hope that's clear to everybody here. Anything else? There being none, our session is adjourned. Okay na?